la voz de LA. It's la cuna galaxiana, come and kick it with us. I bring the bossa nova beats and talk the club that we love. Another year to adjust, and Will Kuntz we all trust. 6 titles in the cabin, tell a hater shut up. Mirar al horizonte con el cielo morado. Llegamos al estadio como siempre lo hago. Es la nueva temporada, ya cumplí 30 años. Rezándole a San Pequi que no dé al travesaño. Que repartan los balones y no sean tacaños. Que regrese el contraataque y que le hagamos daño. Un saludo para Robert, hermanos ecuatorianos. Que la táctica de Ananda nunca sean en vano. Si se trata de mi gala me levanto temprano. Ver el fur en verano, en el pasto tumbado. Siempre estoy a tu lado, en cualquier resultado. Vamos Galaxy, on top is where I gotta be. Chilling in the canopy, staging like a winery. Goals during rivalries, brew from the refinery. Only want the finer things, we letting you know. Lo que pasa en la galaxia, ready, let's start the show.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome back to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans out there, wherever you may be, for all you La Cuna Galaxians, aka Cuneros, wherever you may be. Thank you so much for always supporting the show, and if it's your first time, welcome. We love to have you as well, and any MLS sickos, you are welcome here as well. Today, get ready for sad fool hours. I don't know. Oh, hell, I lost count on Ananda as the LA Galaxy are still searching for their first win after traveling to Austin, Texas on Saturday, April 19th, and getting a big side of barbecue L after losing 1-0 courtesy of a Brandon Vasquez goal in the 80th minute. The Galaxy made plenty of chances to win this match, but as the story has been all season, did not take their chances, could not keep a clean sheet, and fell to another defeat that leaves them rooted firmly in the cellar of the league table. We'll talk about what the Galaxy did well, how they created the looks that Gabriel Pecci perhaps should have put away, how the defense was turned back once again, if there are any silver linings from that performance, and how the Galaxy showed some fight, but after the final whistle. Plus, is the hot seat getting hotter? All that and more coming up tonight on this episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, episode 190. Let me go ahead and introduce myself. I'm one of your co-hosts, Rob Halone. You can find my written work at Extra Time Talk and at the Sporting Tribune. And just like the tag on the screen says, you can find me online at El Escudero de LA. And of course, since I am here, you know that Anandita Kirana is here, El Yerno Guapo y El Gitano Perdido, the Cosmopolitan one, coming live and direct from somewhere on God's green earth. Papa, it's sad for hours, number whatever.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say about this damn team? I guess we'll get into it. We'll have to get into it, but we've lost count at this point, and I mean, like we said the last show, like we're doing math already. How many episodes of Sad Foo Hours are we already into the season? And it's just kicking off. We're not even a third of the way there. So this is shaping up to be a fairly long season. I mean, I caught this game late. I could have actually caught it live, but of course I had some family stuff going on the weekend. It was a pretty early kickoff for all of you guys. So, you know, hopefully you at least had some good brunch or breakfast during your watching this team, because that was you probably wanted to vomit all that up after you watched this team's performance. But look, man, I just nothing else to say other than I was frustrated watching that game, and that's my one-word match reaction. Just an extremely frustrating performance on all levels. I mean, we had chances to win the game. Gabby Peck had a few really good chances. We had maybe one or two clean looks through on goal. McCarthy makes a potentially, I thought it was a game-winning save at that moment, right?
The penalty, you mean?
The potentially game-winning penalty save, because those are things that turn the tides, right, during games.
Hype you up, propel you to, like, you know, hey, let's go ahead and turn that into something positive right now. Yeah, no, I get you.
And you know, things were trending. I even said this in my prediction, which is you keep this as at 0-0. You take your chances going on the road at Austin, going into the last 10-15 minutes of the game, and you take your chances, right? You're in a good position. But of course, luck is just not on our side this year, and so I think it was just frustrating on all levels. We'll get into a lot more detail and stuff and why. We can see that clearly at the end of the game, the players are frustrated, probably as much as the fans are, right? But as we'll explore later, where was that frustration when we, during the game, like show that fight and that passion and that heart for the 90 minutes and not after injury time. So, anyways.
Ananda fired up. Ananda, calling fools out right now. Well, is that your one word?
Yeah, frustrating.
Besides being all saucy over there. Okay, frustrated. Okay,
saucy, frustrating.
Yeah. Okay. Nah, it was just for me. It wasn't a one word. It was like one phrase. I don't know if you've seen that video where the Argentinian cat is like "Viven en el country." That's what it was like for me, man. Because I mean, I don't know how Kevin Peck doesn't score some of these. Anyway, we'll get more into that. But yeah, it was that. It was just dumbfounded on how this match does not end in a Galaxy victory with the chances that were spurned. I really quick shout out earlier tonight, Ananda, I recorded an interview with MLS analyst Michele Giannone, and he agreed. He said, the Galaxy played a good game. I mean, in simulations, in 99 out of 100 matches they win, they played the one match that they lost, right? He's like, he said that he didn't dislike their game or their tactical system, then they should have won. And certainly they created the chances to go ahead and do so. But as has been the season, it was not to be. But anyway, those are our one word match reaction, guys. Go ahead and send them in. If you haven't already, go ahead and let us know what you're thinking for your one word match reaction. It can be a phrase. I certainly gave you a phrase. So anyway, Ananda, did you give us your housekeeping yet? We have
no, but why don't you? But why don't you go with your flow on you just brought it up, the fact that you did an interview with Michele Giannone, Michele or Michele? I don't know what the what is
Michele.
Michele. Yeah, why don't you bring that up, man?
Well, guys, we will be dropping a breakaway episode. What would you tell me on Wednesday? Is that when that's dropping?
Yeah, Wednesday morning. Yep.
Wednesday morning. Guys, Michele has been all over the world covering this sport. I mean, he's covered the World Cup in Qatar. He was one of the folks covering the U.S. men's national team, and he's covered both Los Angeles teams for a good long while now. As he's based in San Diego, Ananda, he covers now San Diego FC as well. So yeah, like I said, he's been in the game forever. I mean, he was pretty much ever present on 2 and Univision for the better part of a decade, and now he's on MLS on Apple TV. During their coverage on the English and Spanish side. So go ahead and check that out, guys. Really, really insightful on what he thinks is ailing the Galaxy right now. But he did end with some hope. So go ahead and tune into that and check out what he thinks is kind of like the silver lining here for the Galaxy. But anyway, you still haven't done your housekeeping.
All right, time for some housekeeping. All right, guys. So, of course, you can always follow me, block me, or stalk me at Ananda Galaxiana, as the screen says for everyone watching on YouTube. And, of course, you can find us on all the socials at Lacuna Galaxiana, is where you're going to get the latest news on when we're live and anything going on in Galaxylandia. We'll retweet and do all that fun stuff out there. And, of course, if you have not yet, because we know that a third of you that are listening, maybe new subscribers. could be returning. We're not sure yet, but we do know that a third of you are not subscribed yet to the show.
What do you think it is? What do you think it is? Like they're just like not decided yet. Oh man, I don't know about these guys yet. Like they're gonna have to
I
prove
mean,
themselves.
it's like going into Costco, Papa. You need some free samples. Sometimes the first one doesn't get you, but then the next time you're like, like okay, I think I'm down with it. There might be a little promo involved, and you get the whole box, right? Because look, in Costco, you got to buy the whole thing. It's not it's not a la carte, right? You got to buy like 20 or 25 of them. So it's kind of like that. But hopefully, our free samples are getting you guys hooked and addicted to the show, just like everyone in chat, man, because it's always super fun. Like you said, the vibes are super fun always, even during Fadful hours, even when the Galaxy are playing like absolute turd. Yeah. So anyways, go ahead and do that, guys. Subscribe to our channel and help us to get to 600 subs. El Primo sighting. El Primo sighting. There he is. What's up?
Sighting.
Big Matthew. But yeah, man. So go ahead and do that. And of course, Papa, like you always say, the super chats are actually open, so help us get us to those 6 super chats representing the 6 MLS Cups. And of course, just to make sure you get your questions read, etc. And man, I mean, ask anything is fair. Almost anything is fair game, guys. Like this team, there's a lot to talk about this team. Probably I've seen lots of queries out there already on X and Insta. So go ahead and put those questions in the chat. And of course,
a lot of wild stuff.
Yeah, bro. So I said, just almost anything is fair game. But anyways, and of course, papá, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches, bienvenidos a otro capítulo de La Cuna Galaxiana. Now let's get into the group therapy, man. I think I need it just as much as everyone here in chat.
Yeah, we're gonna hit some news right quick though before we get into the game. But Juan Quintanilla says, "Shout out nephew with a solid game on defense." You know what, man? He kept it real. I mean, he did his thing. You pay this man, like everybody always complains every year about like how much Eric Zavaleta makes, which comparatively is not a lot, because this man came in and didn't put a foot wrong, right? Like this is a man that came in after not playing a regular season match and pretty much went the full 90 for you. But yet people cap. But I think he played a wonderful game. Yeah, Juan has a solid game on defense. Yeah, I gotta agree. He did his thing. But anyway, hitting some.
I was gonna say, and Big Matthew always says, "En las buenas en las malas," right? We de la verdad, just like Arquitekto said, you know, in our first intro song. So shout out Arquitekto, man, wherever you are.
Yeah, so I mean, he's big timer now, man. I mean, they bumping that Arquitekto in the stadium. I mean, who knows whether he's gonna even talk to us now from, I mean, I might have to hit him up like, hey man, this is Rob. You still remember me? I know you're big time now, but nah, congratulations to him.
Rising tide, man. Rising tide.
Yeah. If you haven't yet, pick up that LP as well. I mean, last I heard, there was a couple copies left, so hit them up for your copy, your record. So, anyway, hitting up some news. Are we allowed to talk about stuff that isn't Galaxy right now, or like just people are like, we're in panic mode, so we want to talk about Galaxy, or should we talk about a little something else first?
Well, we can talk about a couple little something else's first, but this first one, it may ruffle, it may not be too kind to the Galaxy faithful, but listen, this might be relevant. So anyways, take it away.
Well, the other day, news broke that LAFC coach Cherundolo decided to step down. In essence, basically, he was like, I spoke it over with my family. We reflected, and at the end of the year, we're going back to Germany. He said he loves LAFC and Los Angeles, but it's time for him to go. So he basically gives his marching orders, like he's leaving on his own terms, of course, but he's basically saying, hey, I'm done, and there's a ton of season left to play. So I don't know what this does psychologically to this LAFC team. I don't know if this was necessarily handled the right way. But this is a coach that led them to the CONCACAF Champions League and MLS Cup, and he is the only coach to reach both finals the same calendar year. Just third coach in MLS history to lead a team to the MLS Cup final in his first 2 seasons as head coach. He did lose 3 finals after winning MLS Cup in 2022. Ananda, is this a good thing or a bad thing for Galaxy fans that are hate watching this from across the 110?
Well, from all of the reaction that I've seen on the other side of the pond, man, I feel like this is probably a bad thing, because I don't think their fans are convinced with Dolo, right? And I've seen a lot of criticism on some tactical things he does, etc. But I mean, bro, you lose. I mean, you get all those at bats at finals and you lose all of them. That's not a good look, right? And I don't fully believe this is like him going on his own terms. I can't. I don't know. I'm
Really?
not buying that. I'm not buying that. Yeah.
What the hell you say?
Yeah. I don't think I'm buying that, because like, I don't know. I like you.
But it's speculation.
Not convinced.
It is something you feel. It is something you feel, right?
Yeah. I think it's
Seamos claros. Let's be clear here. Yeah, well, I mean,
speculation.
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten them there. Now whether, I mean, yeah, he lost three finals, but he's consistently getting that team there, and he's making them a challenger pretty much every year. It'll be interesting to see where they go from here, what kind of coach they pick up, and yeah, I mean the league and Galaxy fans should be wary of what they could do. I mean, they have the resources to go out and pick up a top-notch coach, and they have the resources to go ahead and give him some players that he really likes to complement his roster. So next year, LAFC is going to be a completely new team. I mean, always a force to be reckoned with, always the Galaxy's rival, but now going to be getting a fresh new look with a new coach and certainly a bunch of new players as well. Moving along here, there is a new owner in RSL. The ex-Jazz owners bought Real Salt Lake and the Utah Royals. Larry H. Miller family, in conjunction with Miller Sports Entertainment, has acquired a controlling interest in RSL and the Utah Royals for $600 million. Anandita, that's a good amount of cheddar, man. What do you think? Is it enough for 2 franchises, $600 million?
I don't know. I don't even know what valuations are and stuff are worth. But look, they're clearly making an investment, right?
What did San Diego come in at?
I don't know. I'd have to research it. Literally, I don't know. I don't know the figure. We'd have to research it.
I seem to remember it was like, and I could be wrong. Chat, fact check me on this one, but wasn't it like 650 mil, 750 mil, or something like that? Like something obscene, like something, like way more. Like I remember.
Million?
That seems right. I mean, yeah, it's
500 mil.
Yeah, it's obscene. I mean, I remember thinking that when Newcastle got sold, that they were sold for like 285 or 295 million or something like that, something ridiculous. But anyway, okay, in that context, like maybe 600 million is fair, but there are new owners in RSL, and they have committed to investing in the community, investing in this team as well. So RSL about to get a new look as well next year. Just the league continues to get stronger, right? And then we'll finish up here with the updates with VCFC. They will be back at the Willie Roll at 7 p.m. on April 23rd against Portland Timbers 2. And right now they are defending first place after 5 games played on 12 points with a 4-0-1 record. And we have our first super chat of the day. Stephen Ma, what up, man? What up? What up? LAFC is ready to hire Peter Vermees. I called it. Let's see if you're a brujo. Let's see if you're the sage that called it. Chat, you guys saw him. I mean, he has every right to pull up receipts if he's right at the end of the year. What do you see it happening, Ananda? Or do you think Peter Vermees has earned his time away from the game for a moment?
Yeah, I'm not sure. He seems to be like associated with MLS 2.0, 3.0. I like LAFC seems to be always pretty forward looking, and they're pretty clear on their principles and how they want to play. So I'm not sure if Vermees fits that style, but there's some interesting ones out there. I mean, Gio Savarese is still without a job, right? There's some interesting candidates out there. And who knows, maybe the Galaxy at some point next year might be looking at exercising these options as well. We will see. That's something to talk about on the show a little bit later. Stay tuned.
Do you want to hear some cheese, man? Do you want to hear some cheese, man? Say yes, fool. Say yes.
What's the cheese, man? What's the cheese, man?
All right. So
sorry, I was on delay.
So I was talking to Michele in that interview, right? And we were talking a little bit of Greg Vanney contract situation, and he was letting me know that he's starting to hear that it's not out of the question that Greg Vanney returns to Toronto at the end of the year, being that he is in a contract negotiation year. It could be that LAFC is not the only one that's looking for a coach. It might be the Galaxy as well. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Don't want to spoil it for you guys, but that's just a little bit of cheese, man, that Michele let me know on. And of course, he was quick to point out that this is, just kind of some rumblings at the moment. Yes, Ananda?
Rob leaving some crumbs for you guys to go ahead and check out that video dropping Wednesday morning. Interview with Michele Giannone.
Yeah, I mean, really, really knowledgeable cat, man. I mean, he gave me a kind of like a little bit of an inside look here of what the analysts, how they go about their day to day and kind of how they're watching these matches and stuff like that. It was really fun. Again, shameless plug for that breakaway episode. It's about half an hour, so you guys can go ahead and get a quick walk around the neighborhood with the pooch, and then be like, oh, that was fun, and then hit subscribe, which like Ananda said, a third of y'all don't do. But anyway, let's get into this match summary now. Damn, Ananda, do we have to?
Let's get it over with.
All right. 9 games. We're talking about 9 games here. We talking about practice. The LA Galaxy fell 1-0 on the road in Texas, in Austin, before almost 21,000 fans at Q2 Stadium early Saturday morning. Of course, in Texas, it was Saturday afternoon. The Galaxy actually put together a decent looking game. Actually played pretty well, made several chances through Gabriel Pecchi, and should have really been up 2 or 3-0 at the half, but couldn't really find the net. They were kind of wasteful in their finishing, and that led to them being shut out for the 4th time this season. John McCarthy had several good saves, including a penalty stop in this match, but could do nothing about Brandon Vasquez's winner in the 80th minute, which was, let's face it, just off of a freak deflection. And the Galaxy again get bit by just a bit of bad luck, a bit of unfortunate defending, just wasteful finishing. And that was pretty much the story of the match, Ananda. But as always, let's go ahead and start at the beginning. What did you see from this starting lineup?
Yeah, well, let me pull it up on the screen there. I mean, honestly, nothing that was shocking or surprising. I was hoping that Zabaleta would be fit. Honestly, I mean, you don't want to put too many square pegs in round holes, right? So a center back in a center back's position, that's always a good place to start. So no surprise there. I was happy to see that. The front six, I mean, Parente went back into that midfield, right? With Diego at the number 10. I mean, look, this is based off of form, quote unquote. Although there's not much to say with that, right? Maybe the most informed player is probably Christian Ramirez with his goal scoring, form, if you look at everything over the last 5 or 6 games. But I mean, this is probably our strongest lineup right now, right? Because you think about Lucas Sanabria right now he's just getting back from injury. He's not up to par yet with this team. Diego has been playing relatively well. I mean, he's been producing or playing 90 minutes almost every game. So based off of form, this is probably your strongest team, Rob. Just unfortunately, the Galaxy just can't get anything going right now. And of course, it was nice to see Marco Reus come off the bench, off the subs bench as well, since looks like he's ready to play Mo Cuevas as well. So we are starting to get some pieces back, but right now it's not translating into points, and that's the issue right now.
I want to take a moment and say hello to everybody in chat right now. Thank you so much for catching the show tonight. You mentioned Marco Reus, and again, I had a lot of fun with Michele, so I'm going to bring him up again. Mans was just absolutely. He pretty much said, "Don't ever show me Marco Reus again." He just doesn't care. This is exactly the type of player that MLS should not be bringing in, the edging European superstar that doesn't care to give himself for the team. His words, not mine. Don't come after me, any Marco Reus fans. But yeah, man, he was very adamant. Like this is a Marco Reus should just be a depth piece, if anything, for this team, and not really should be dependent on like you said. This should be for him the front six until Ricky Puig gets back. He kept on saying September, which is I don't know. First we thought August, then Greg said October. I mean, snaps. I mean, should we be hoping for September, Ananda? Is that realistic? I mean, that's still 5 months away.
Yeah, I mean, look, it looks like obviously he's working really hard trying to rehab, right? I mean, we see all his Instagram stories and his TikToks. So we'll just hope the biggest thing is let's not have any setbacks. If we need to take more time based off of his, how he's progressing, then that's great. But what we don't want is a setback. Remember, we saw that multiple times with Jalen Neal's injuries over the last couple of years, Rob, where you think he's back and then he has a setback. And that's usually what prolongs recuperation times, is a setback. So hopefully he progresses steadily well and he just takes as much time as he needs to get back fully fit.
XBH, what up? I like his comment. Not sure why people are so down on Reus. He's been like that his whole career. That's why he missed the World Cup. And it's funny because I really like Reus as a player. It just hasn't been happening for him here with the Galaxy, but it's part of that larger trend of him not being available the past couple years. Through injury. I mean, that's really what I know him more for. That star, that man. How good could he have been if he had avoided injury? That's Reus for me. And I really thought he would come here to the Galaxy and start playing at least like a very good supporting role, but it just, like, again, it hasn't happened. But I did not go in as hard as Michele. Ananda, you really got to hear it. Mans goes.
I can't.
Mans goes in.
I will be tuning in as well, since I was not in that interview. So tune in, guys, Wednesday morning.
Yeah, man. No, I did it on the solo. So Nana doesn't know what happened either. So anyway, yeah, go ahead and check it out on Wednesday morning. Morning, and is that correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were gonna leave it for later, but yeah, I think I would say I don't think it's a far cry to say like Reus has severely underperformed his expectations. I mean, even since last year, right? It was funny because he started off like he started off like coming in hot. Like he came in really hot. He had an amazing first debut against Atlanta, and him and Ricky Puig broke open that game, right? He had a goal and an assist. And I think he is the player more than anyone, man, that misses Ricky. Like his interchange between him and Ricky is really, really nice, and they have a lot of really nice chemistry. And of course the fact that
But he
Ricky
shouldn't
is
though. But he shouldn't though, because he's like he's a fine
he's
player by
not
himself.
the same player. He's just not the same player, Rob. We can't. He's just not. Based off of, I don't know if it's. I think it's a combination though for me of physically being there at the level, but also just I think his work rate and just in general, like he's not that player. So he needs guys around pieces around him to make it work that add that work rate, add that added mobility. If you need technical quality in the final third, he can deliver that for you. But he's just not that he's not gonna run around like that anymore at this point in his career. And so, but I think we can all agree that he's not up to our expectations. That's for damn sure.
It reminds me of Jackie Brown, man, where he goes, Sam goes, could have been beautiful, baby, could have been beautiful, and man, it really could have been beautiful had he come here and lived up to those expectations, just like you said, right? But anyway, let's go ahead and go into a couple of the match stats here. Saturday's match, it marked the 9th time that Austin and the Galaxy played. The Galaxy now lead the series 5-3-1. And 4 all-time matches played on the road at Q2 Stadium. They hold a 1-3-1 record. 4 goals, 4-8 against. Ananda and I were there in the flesh in person to catch one of those L's personally. In this one, in our preview to this one, we told you about an Austin offense that wasn't performing to par, that wasn't playing to its potential, and the Galaxy sure made sure to let them kind of find their groove again. The Galaxy allowed Austin their highest XG total of the year, their 3rd highest possession percentage of the year, their 2nd highest shot total, their most shots on target, their 2nd highest XG per shot, their most box entries, and their 2nd highest final third passing accuracy for the year. So they definitely took care of letting Austin find their footing back into where they needed to be. How Austin got their groove back? Well, the Galaxy let them pass around for a while. This match was Coach Greg Vanney's 400th appearance as or match coached as a Galaxy coach / player. He had a fine career as a Galaxy defender, and now he is the coach that brought you the 2024 MLS Cup. Man, I did see a very savage tweet about this feat here, but I'll leave you to go ahead and find it, Ananda, and then let's see if you know me well enough to be like, oh, this was definitely the one. Additionally, Vanney managed his 348th career MLS regular season game in this match against Austin. John Nelson played his 100th MLS regular season match. We had a shout out earlier about Eric Zavaleta. He made his first start for the Galaxy during this game for the campaign, and it also marked his first start since March 23rd, 2024, in a 3-2 win over Sporting Kansas City. Do you remember that one, Ananda, that come from behind?
Yep. That was a nice one.
Yeah. Did he have a goal in that one, or is that just my imagination? Did he have a goal in that one?
Did he? No. You mean Nelson?
No, Eric.
Oh, yes, I think he did. I think he scored the first one right off a corner kick.
Man, get that guy.
I was hoping he would score a goal on this one to save our asses, but you know.
Get that guy some AFCHA pupusas anyway. He did score in that come from behind 3-2 against Sporting Kansas City. Gabriel Pecchi, who finished the match with 7 shots, also had 3 shots on target and agonizingly hit the post. He made his 50th career start with the Galaxy in all competitions. Mariuso Cuevas made his return, and he made a subs appearance for 7 minutes. And then Marco Reus, we've already mentioned him a couple times tonight. He made his first appearance for the Galaxy for the first time dating back to March 9th. I mean, again, Ananda, I want to go talk about it again, but we'll I guess we'll save it. You have a couple of things that you want to touch on as well in terms in terms of stats. Sorry, I'm just laughing about Raji. Yeah, Satful oldies for sure. Go ahead, Ananda. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so let me pull up the final box score here per the MLS website. So, just running through the key ones here. So possession, it was pretty even, Rob. It was 50-50 basically. But as you can see, the some of the stats that you read out, Austin did a lot more with the ball or with the possession than we did. 16 shots for Austin versus 14 for us. So, I mean, in terms of shot volume, not too bad, but Austin had 5 shots on goal. The Galaxy had 4. But here's the thing, like Austin had the quality of the chances, Rob. They had 6 big chances versus the Galaxy. This game only had 1. Rob, if you want to compare this to last season, just in terms of a proxy, this season we are second to last in big chances so far at 12. Last year, it only took us 3 games to get 11 big chances. I don't know if you recall, but even in the game against Miami in opening day last year, we had 5 big chances alone in that game. So I think this just goes to show the disparity between last year and this year, and especially in terms of attacking output. And we'll talk about a little bit later. We'll ask the chat as well what they think is the number one thing wrong with this LA Galaxy team. And that's a huge part of it, is just the lack of offense. That's a huge part.
Only one thing is what people would say. Only one thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's probably all of the above, but let's try to pick one thing if we can. But like, what is that root cause, right? But anyways, just to finish the stats out, you look at the XG as well in terms of, again, how effective were we in possession. XG for Austin 3, the XG for Galaxy almost 1. So it's 0.9 XG actually if you look at the actual stat. And this is another damning one, Rob. Per Joseph Lowry of MLS.com, for the 7th time in 9 games, the LA Galaxy could not break the 1 XG mark. Again, that's not what we saw last year. Last year was a completely different story. So I think those things are probably the biggest things to pick out, man. I don't know if anything jumped out on you in the stats, or pretty even keel, or pretty consistent with your eye test.
I thought that with all the chances that Gabriel Peck had, that they would have broken that XG, but what do you suppose that is, like, just low percentage?
They were mostly outside the box, right? Except for that one probably that rattled off the post. Other than that, though, I mean, I can't really think of any huge, big, clear-cut chances inside the box. I mean, of course, you gotta remember that the penalty for Austin, that usually counts for like 0.5, 0.6 XG. So, but even that, they generated over 2, right? Over 2 goals. I mean, in one sense, credit to the Galaxy for limiting them to only 1 goal, but so credit to the defense. But in another sense, just too many clear-cut chances, for sure. But the one thing, like, if you think about the disparity between this year and last year, man, like, I'm going to pull up this tweet from our buddy Alex Ruiz, and this just kind of underscores that point, right?
My once co-host.
Yeah, exactly. He says, crazy to think that the club was crowned champions 133 days ago. So dangerous, clutch, and in sync on the pitch. You're not seeing that from the 2025 side. So again, just based off of that, man, I posed this to the chat, and I teased this just a second ago, which is what's wrong with this team? Like, what do you guys think is wrong with the LA Galaxy? Everyone listening to on playback, go ahead and put it in the comments of this video as well. I mean, sure, it's probably anything and everything, but
it's pretty open-ended.
Like, what's the one thing that you guys think that's wrong with this team? Because there is a lot of things to point out. And, well, maybe before I pull up this next tweet, Rob, because this is when Rob and I were preparing for the show, like, there's usually this emotionally charged ones. I remember us doing this a lot in the 2023 season, which is we just reacted to tweets because it literally just painted
That's
the
my favorite
picture,
kind of show. My favorite kind of
right?
show.
We just literally reacted to tweets or X posts, whatever you want to call them nowadays. And that, I mean, you get, I think, a good sense of what's going on in the ether, based off of what we see out there. That's, all the opinions and the takes and stuff. So I even saw, I think if you guys haven't watched it either, the post match or the, what do you call it, the MLS wrap up on Apple TV, I think they did a good little segment on the Galaxy as well, and it was Sasha, Bradley Wright Phillips, and Dax. So go ahead and check that out, guys, as well. But Rob, what do you think, man?
Can you give me the cliff notes of what they said?
Obviously it's just the turnover from last year. I think Dax brought up an interesting point, and I don't want to preface this too much, but he talked about, Greg needs to make more adjustments. He needs to change something because what's what's that saying? It's the definition of insanity is doing it over again or something like that. So he's got to do something. So I think it's interesting. Yeah, but you guys go ahead and check that out. But what do you think, Rob? What's wrong with this team? Before I move on.
Ay Dios. Well, we've been talking about the main one all year is shooting themselves in the foot. The mistakes that they're making on themselves. Sure, the goal from Austin comes off a deflection that's kind of like very kind to Vasquez, and he's able to put it away. But it comes off of a turnover that Wolf causes, and then they're able to Austin's able to turn that turnover into that goal. So it's not as overt as some of the stuff that we've been seeing this year, but it's another instance of a mistake made that was punished, and as a consequence, you're not going home with anything other than the travel memories from Austin. So I mean, it's that. I mean, it's the midfield that hasn't really gelled. It's the injuries. It's the chances that haven't been finished. It's people not being able to finish the chances. Jesus, I mean, where do I stop? I mean, there's
I
a
mean,
lot
it's all the above. It's all the above, but I think it's, we've got to find everything has a root cause, right? It's all got to stem from somewhere. So, and we'll go over all those little things, and we'll talk about all those little facets that you just mentioned. I'll pull up a tweet in a second from our good friend Sophie Nicolau, but there's some good ones in chat, Rob, that I do want to highlight because these are very, I think these are very appropriate. Potterman says confidence. Amen. That's a huge one, right? I mean, this team's confidence is shot at the moment. However, they can say the right things in the post-match pressers, but confidence is a real thing, guys, and we see that even with the finishing ability of Gabriel Peck. Big Leo says chemistry, new bodies, no familiarity, no trust, inexperience, don't fit the Vanney system. We'll talk about those new bodies in just a second here, but those are all very good points as well. Raul G says no one is sparking the team. I always said that Ricky was the emotional engine of this team, and I think you're starting to see it. No creativity, lack of experience, and chemistry. So yeah, again, I think those are all really, really fair points, and I'm going to bring this tweet up now from Sophie the Judge, and she says, LA Galaxy lose again. No composure, no midfield creativity, no maestro to control tempo. Peck takes way too many shots. He has no patience. Paint still offering little. Royce beyond ineffective. New signings average. Now fighting at the whistle. Should have fought over the last 98 minutes.
I didn't see this.
Those are all the talking points.
Those are savage right here.
Those are literally all the talking points. And let's
Judge went in on them.
Let's break it down with chat, right? One by one.
She went in on them.
She says about the midfield, no composure, no midfield creativity, no maestro to control the tempo. I mean, she's absolutely right. Someone said it, Raul G said it in chat. There's not only is there no emotional engine, there's no Ricky to control the tempo of the game. to even chance create, or break the game open with a moment of magic, especially in a deadlock like this. You could have used a guy like Ricky Puig. Again, no excuses, but it is what it is. And then she talks about composure, right? There's no Mark Delgado now to inject composure and experience, because every game is different and the demands of every game are different based off of the opponent and based off of the things that we're trying to do. And what did you always say last year in the post-match presser, Rob, with Greg Vanney? Mark Delgado is a great equalizer, right?
Yeah.
He's the guy that always sets the balance right.
3 lungs.
And he does. He's always in the right place at the right time and makes the right decisions, right? And you remember, again, I always bring this up, but the first 10 games of last season, Mark Delgado was our best player. It wasn't Ricky Puig, it wasn't Gabriel.
Yeah, definitely.
It was Mark Delgado. It was Mark Delgado, right? And on top of that, Jovic was scoring the goals, and everyone was basically poo-pooing him for being a tap-in merchant. Well, boy, I'd love to get all those tap-ins back right at about this point. I'll take tap-ins I'll take them all day, right? And then you talk about also the players. Someone said it in chat just a second ago. It was Leo said that the players that we're bringing in don't fit the Vanney system. Well, I don't know about that, but for sure at this point, what we can say is the players that we've brought in to replace those positions have been average. And Sophie's right. The new signings have been average. They're not up to speed. Sanabria, Winder's trying to get minutes now in VCSC, right? And then also just Reus beyond ineffective. I think we've already beat the nail on his head on that one earlier, but he's I think we expect more from a guy. I think we expect more from a guy from a guy with that pedigree, that experience, that stature. And I think you probably saw this online too, Rob. Sophie said, did someone tell Marco Reus he's not allowed to pass the ball forward or take a shot, right?
Yeah. I saw that one for sure, and I was like, and I thought that one was like, oh wow, okay, Judge. I didn't see this one. Like I said, this one is savage. Well, I mean, damn, this is scorched earth right here.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so like obviously we can chalk it up to the midfield. But also, Rob, we can also say, and she's absolutely right, that the DPs are underperforming. Remember last year, I mean, there was that iconic picture of the 3 DPs plus Jovic, right? That front four. And we even said it at the time. It's like when you look at that front four and how they performed throughout the season, it was a record-breaking historical moment that we've got to say. We've got to savor this. We've got to cherish this, because we may not see this again, right? And we see now what the difference of that is versus this year, where, I mean, of course, Puig isn't playing, but you look at Peck and Paintsville. I mean, they're severely underperforming. I mean, let's talk about Gabriel Peck for a second, Rob. What did you see out of this game? But more importantly, just why is he not getting on track? Like, what's going on? What are you seeing from your eye test?
Yeah, she's not wrong. He's taking a lot of shots, and they're not all testing keepers. I mean, a lot of them are being blocked. I mean, we've already talked about his inability to convert his chances, but per our good friend Alex El Profe, Peck ranks 24th in MLS with 37 touches in the opponent's penalty box, but yet he has 1 goal this season, right? So I mean, he's getting into the opponent's box. He's kind of the focal point of the Galaxy's attack at the moment, and he's not really bringing them what he needs. Now, there's no one really supporting him either. I mean, the next highest player with touches in the opponent's penalty box is on the Galaxy is Miguel Berry with 15, and he ranks 134th, and that's also per Profe Alex. So that's quite
crazy. And he's not even a starter, which is crazy,
right? So that's quite a disparity, right? But still, I mean, you have 1 goal from this player who is again, the focal point, and maybe it's not fair to ask him to be. I mean, he's seemingly got the weight of this team right now on his shoulders. It kind of feels like they're looking to him to say, Gabriel Peck, rescue us at times, or that's kind of like the feel. But whether that's fair or not fair, I mean, he is a designated player. So big things are expected from him. He only had 2 goals after 9 games played last season. The difference at that time, though, was that others were scoring. So it's still possible for him to start, producing at a high clip. I mean, he finished the year last year with a fine return. So he has 1 in 9 right now. Had 2 in 9 last year. But others were scoring, like I mentioned. You're not seeing that this year. I mean, only Christian Ramirez has scored a couple of goals. Joseph Painskill scored against Tigres, but correct me if I'm wrong, Ananda, but I don't think he scored in the league
Yep.
since his return. Um, I mean, he's not whether it's him or whether it's the Galaxy, they're not really utilizing his main asset, which is his tremendous speed. He's certainly not using it to take on his man 1v1. I mean, we already know he's not that type of winger exactly. He's always going to take on his man, but every now and again would definitely not hurt. I mean, these 2 players should have been able to have enough quality between them to have that man advantage tell against uh, against Austin over the weekend, but they just really couldn't get anything going, and by that point, I think Gabriel Pecci was this kind of shot on that confidence. I mean, Potter said earlier, confidence. You shoot, and it's not falling for you. You start to question, like, am I ever going to strike net again? Of course, we know he will, but it just seems that way. Yes, Ananda?
I was going to say, what's interesting though is, Vanney, of course, we associate Vanney ball with possession style, controlling the game with possession, right? Being on top of the ball and having that be our best defense, right? When the other team doesn't have the ball, they can't score, right? That as simple as that. But what's interesting is arguably especially with these 2 guys, we've been more of a threat on the counter, especially or in transition. Especially as JP has gotten back into the lineup, right? That when we create those big chances, like we had that breakaway against Houston, for example, last week when we couldn't finish, I don't know how the defender got back in position and nicked that away from Peck when he took it on his right foot, but we've been most dangerous in those transition moments, right? Because we know that the speed that both guys offer in the wings. So I think that's been interesting, and I think that's something for Greg to think about, in terms of, does he give up relinquish and give up a little bit of his possession style, because we've been most dangerous in transition and on the break. The problem is we got to finish those chances off to make it count. And you talked about JP's 1v1 ability last year, and you buckle that, or you couple that with confidence. You remember that curling effort, Rob? I think it was away in Colorado in the first round. Pretty sure it was away. He took it on the right side and he took it at the top of the corner box and he swooped. He just curled that. He had a nice curling effort, far post, and he hit it side net. That comes with confidence. And you're right. That comes with confidence. And I think we've seen the ability for JP to do that, even 1v1 in a possession or in a build, in a sustained build type of phase, not in transition. And that's all confidence, right? So I think we've seen flashes, we've seen examples of what JP could do in a 1v1 situation. But you're right. I think the confidence, and Pottermus just said it a second ago, confidence is completely shot, right? Confidence is completely shot. But, you think about the end of the game, and this is sort of Sophie's last point, which is you're fighting at the whistle, but guys, you should have fought. Where was this fight, over the last 98 minutes of the game, right? And I think, you look at the tensions that flared up at the end. Vanney said post-match that a lot of this, and we've talked about it in this show as well, is I think this tension between Austin and Galaxy have been brewing the last couple seasons on hard tackles on Dicky Puig, especially the one on Biro, or the one from Biro last year towards the end of the season. We saw it in the CVI as well. So I think the tension has been brewing. JP, credit to him, and all the Galaxy fans, I think, expressed their their support for JP just standing up and pointing up the 6 fingers and all that. But again, you look at that and you say, okay, that's great. but where was that during the game? Like, where was that when it really counted during the 98 minutes? And unfortunately, yeah, it's just one of those things that you see that frustration boil over. As I said, my one word match reaction was just frustration. I think you feel that not only amongst the fan base, but amongst the players as well.
Shout out Juan Quintanilla for his super chat. Gracias, man. Thank you for listening to this pod. We appreciate it. I don't know what exactly happened at the end of the match, but these players, like you said, I mean, the Galaxy showed some fight, but after the final whistle, what exactly set this fight off? Who knows? But by the end of it, both benches had cleared. People were holding people back. JP was one of the ones that was being held back by his fellow countryman Osman Bukhari, who knows what set JP off like that, because he's normally very quiet and calm. There was some chatter that he might be picking up a suspension. They are reviewing whether there was punches thrown in this scuffle here. But as you mentioned, it's good to see them go ahead and stick up for each other, and bring some fight in that pursuit of sticking up for each other. But the fight would have been better served in the match, Ananda, especially with this team not scoring how they are. Are you ready for another Sir Alex fact?
Dale.
All right. So per el profe Alejandro. This one is just something that I caught. The Galaxy has scored 6 goals in 9 games, while Daniel Vlich has 5 goals in 8 games. Per Prophet Alex, they are on pace to score approximately 23 goals over the course of this year. The Galaxy's lowest scoring total in an MLS season, with at least 30 games played, was 35 goals in 2003. So that's quite a big disparity of the amount of goals that you can expect this Galaxy team to get. So something big has to change, Ananda. You mentioned it at the top of the show. You know what the definition of insanity is. And you wanted to bring up a tweet. Keep in mind, chat, that really, like, I've called myself out on being petty, but really this is a not being petty right here.
Well, this isn't me being petty, but this is what I'm just responding to what I'm seeing, and we gotta report on what's actually happening in Galaxylandia, right? Good, bad, or indifferent.
Vale.
And I'm just gonna throw this out now, and chat, you could go ahead and react to this as well. But shout out Galaxy Fan Talk. He says, "Is Greg Vanney officially on the hot seat?" And that is the question that I'm gonna pose to you guys, or if I want to put it more bluntly, chat, from Lex, our friend Lex, LA Galaxy 310. He says, "Chat, could it possibly be time for hashtag Vanney out?" Man, we're already talking about this 9 games into a season. Anyways,
no me gusta. No me gusta.
Dude, real quick though, I told you, I think I feel like I had this conversation with you and maybe someone else that we had on as a guest, and I said, just wait. And we were like all happy, and we were giving Greg Vanney his flowers, and we were giving Greg Vanney his credit and all that stuff. But yeah. I said, just wait, Rob. I said, just wait. Knowing this fan base, it's only going to take a bad start to a season for the Vanney Boobers to come out again. And I even said, like, and I even said, like, they're not going to give him enough credit. Now, granted, the Vanney outers are always going to be Vanney outers, and you're not going to change them either way. That's just the way the world works. But the people that are in the middle, that are like, okay, that we're going to respond to how the team performs, etc., those are the people that are maybe starting to be converted now. But it's I told you this coming into the season. I said it's going to happen. Who cares? I mean, you're only remembered for amongst Galaxy fans and what you did yesterday. So I knew this was going to be the case, but now it's a conversation topic because we're seeing it all over, all over the space. Not everywhere, but the chirps are starting to come out.
Pottermus says David Wagner's in the media to take over. Yeah, I've seen that one too, Pottermus. And like I mentioned, I mean, Michele did let me know that he's starting to hear the chatter that it's not impossible that Greg Vanney returns to Toronto. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen at the end of the season if Greg stays or if he goes, but it's going to be fun to watch what happens, especially if you know the Galaxy. I mean, I don't think that they're going. It's going to be that much longer. I mean, they're going to start picking up some wins. So who knows how this team ends up at the end of the year. But it'll be fun to watch what the Galaxy do. It's going to be a couple of clubs at the end of the year then that are going to be looking for a coach. Ananda, do you want to go ahead and tackle Adam's super chat here first?
I saw that, and I'm going to wait because I do have a point towards the end that I want to sort of wrap this up all with. But what do you want to give your take first on this, Rob, or do you want me to go through the tweets and see what the Galaxy Landia is saying from a few?
No, I'll let you know exactly what I think on it. God, no, I'm just playing. No, I mean it's again. Who do you really replace him with that knows the league, that's put together multiple teams to challenge for honors? I mean, all cycles come to an end, but I don't think the cycle is done for Greg Vanney yet. And not only that, he has the groundwork for a new team here. So no, if it were me, I would retain him. I'd probably give him like a 2-year conditional on performance. You know, of course, he's probably going to want like 3 or 4, and I'll be like, you know what, prove it to me, Greg, prove it to me. That's just me though.
By the way, real quick, shout out to the Kings, man. Like that, I saw that as a crazy game. So it looks like they won their first round 1 match. So
hey, there
nice.
we go.
I know everyone's in chat. I know there's a couple of people like double screening this, but yeah, man. Well, our friend of the show, Mike Gray, might agree with you there. He says Dolo out wasn't my cup of tea, but I get it. Vanney out though. Get the F out of here. GTFO, right? Says friend of the show, Mike Gray. Yeah, man. So I guess let me just go. Yeah, let me just go through these tweets then, and then you know, we can see what and chat. By the way, go ahead and drop your takes in the chat as well, and we will pull them up. Leo says, I asked this at the start of last year, not knowing how the season was going to go. How far do we wait until May? At what point are we mathematically out of the playoffs? End of May or June? We don't know. It just depends on a lot of this. Also, Leo, remember, depends on how well the other teams do or how poorly the other teams do in our case. And again, now more than anything against these Western Conference teams, Rob, that we're fighting for, quote unquote, already fighting for playoff seeding for, it's important to get wins over them now, right? Especially with your Western Conference opponents, so that you can, you know, move yourself up to the standings by giving them L's, right? It's like you get the 3 points and your opponents get 0. So that's going to be really important here. But again, just the fact that we're doing math 9 games in the season, that's not a place that you want to be in. But let me rattle off some of these tweets, and maybe that might spark a thought or two with you or the chat.
Dale, you know I can't read anyway, so
I'll read it for you. Our good friend Chris Tucker out in the Carolinas, soon to be a new zip code, I think. So shout out to you, my good sir. Tucker says, I got to start thinking about what my line is to be Vanney out. We're more than a fifth of the way through the season without a win. Most games feel like a complete waste of time. 16 points off the Supporter Shield and an early dumping from the CCC. Always knew it'd be bad, but he's legendary. Yikes. Just tell me when to stop, when you need me to stop. James Kieran says, I'm not Vanney out yet. I'm just Vanney. Just admit it. Just admit that this team is stinking up the joint and you have to make potentially drastic changes because your whistling past the graveyard approach isn't working. This is the point too, I think, that Dax McCarty was making on MLS wrap up in terms of Vanney needing to change something, right? Because what he's doing is not working. Samoa Bob, shout out Presi. He says that I know he just won MLS Cup and I've been one of his biggest defenders in the past, but we can't be a serious club and go 0-3-6 to start a season and someone not get fired. Lots of reasons as to why it's this bad, but it should never be this bad. And he says, he puts hashtag Vanney out. Good friend MLS Moves says, look, the Galaxy have been swamped with injuries, but if they keep losing games like this, they will have to make a change. Oof.
Go on and make a change. Oh, perfect timing, by the way, on that.
Yeah. Changes. Anyway, we're putting tunes out there left and right.
Exactly.
Yeah, let me put some other more comments in chat. XPH says a lot of factors add to the current status, but it's fair game to also question Vanney's tactics. Not saying he has to go. I mean, look, let me just touch on that a little bit. I think there's a few things that he can do, Rob. We'll talk about this maybe in the preview for the next match against Portland at home. Now that becomes we said it wasn't there's no must wins yet, but damn, that's pretty close. That's pretty damn close to a must win, given that that's our only home game in the next 4, right? Before El Tráfico. So, I mean, look, Vanney, for example, Christian Ramirez is a guy not so much like Dejan Jovic, who's more of a fox in the box. Christian Ramirez likes to attack headers. We saw that, from Mickey Giannone, right, earlier in the season. Is it out of the question to switch sides and put Joseph Paintsel on the right-hand side, where it's more of a natural position, and put Peck on the left-hand side and maybe spam a few more crosses to get Christian Ramirez more involved in the game, right? Doesn't need to be aerial crosses. It could be cutbacks, etc. Could he put Mickey Giannone into a more midfield position and tuck him in and put Mo Cuevas on the right-hand side, maybe to give you that added experience, that added technical ability, a little bit more, combined with a little more defensive prowess, right? Like, there's some tweaks.
Who do you sacrifice? Who do you sacrifice if you bring in Mickey Giannone?
Parente, right? And you have Serio and Yamane in double pivot, and you have Mo Cuevas back there who can give you that verticality up and down that. So I think over time, maybe there's a few things he can do. And again, we talked about earlier in the show, I talked about maybe relinquishing a little bit of that possession style that's really not getting you anywhere right now, because you don't have the guy to unpick the lock in the final third. You don't have that technical ability to finish off clean looks in the final third inside the box. Have a little bit more verticality, play a little bit more in transition, right? Instead of passing it sideways and backwards, maybe make that through ball. Try it. If you give up possession, all right, try to win the ball back. And again, I'm not the coach, and I'm not a coach by nature. I don't have my coaching badges, but I think what we can say is the things that we're doing now are not working. So I think this is probably the right time to think about making tweaks, right? You're not going to overhaul your team overnight. We're not going to become a counterattacking team like a Wilfred Nancy's team overnight, or probably not the greatest example, but maybe like an LAFC overnight, right? We're not that type of team. That's not how this team is built. But, put your players in the most advantageous positions and put them in positions to succeed. And that's Joseph Paintsel in and behind, right? That's Gabby Peck in and behind, or 1v1 against a defender, and not him getting double, triple team like he has been every match. So yeah, I think given what XPH was saying, I think it is fair to question Vanney's tactics for sure.
Leo has some maths interesting that I think you should bring up here. We have 25 games left. Even if we draw each game, 9th place has a 9-point lead. May is a big month with 7 games, 3 games in June, 5 in July, and 4 in August. 0 wins in May. We are done.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. I was going to bring this up later, but the one silver lining, guys, and I saw this again, this is per Joseph Lowry on MLS.com, but the 2023 Sporting Kansas City team made the playoffs with only 3 points in their first 10 games. Of course, the Galaxy right now only has 3 points in their first 9. But again, we don't want to be in that position, right? That was again another Peter Vermees rescue mission gone okay, but we saw what the final ultimatum was for him. But now, Rob, I guess I do want to go back to Adam's super chat really quick. He asks, thanks Adam for the $5 super. He says, who's to blame for the Galaxy season? Injuries or MLS salary cap rules? Honestly, man, and this is going back to the point on what we asked chat, which is what's wrong with the LA Galaxy. To me, the number one thing above all that's wrong with this team is I guess I'm just going to say mentality is the best way I would describe it, but I want to parse that out to a few different things. I think I'm not sure. I know we heard the right things. We covered this team in the CVI, but just going into the season, I felt like the team mentally wasn't in the right place. So what do I mean by that? I think a couple things. Well, you heard, for example, some of the players being discontent with their personal situations. Maya, we heard the comments coming out of him, right? And this is your captain speaking now of how he begrudgingly took less money to stay with the Galaxy, right? Um, I think the MLS Cup hangover is real, right? I think the players probably are resting a little bit too much on last year's laurels and saying, "Hey, we just do the same thing, and this should be a cakewalk, right? Like we're the LA Galaxy, we're the defending MLS Cup champs, like, and I think yes, they don't say it, but I think those things like in the locker room, I think they just seep in, right? Like you could still be together, you could still be behind Greg, but I think those things slowly start to seep in. And that what do I call it? The not lackadaisical, but it's the just being content, right? And not maybe realizing fully that this is a completely new season. You've got completely new players. Your
Right.
midfield is completely new. And I'm not sure if the team and its leaders are relishing that or cherishing that. We've heard even Marco Royce, right, Rob, in the offseason, his comments about MLS salary cap and blaming the salary cap. I think maybe just all the chatter around that, like us blaming the salary cap and that being the contributing factor to us selling all of our players. I think maybe that mentality is now starting to seep into the players' heads, and we're starting to use that as a crutch and not relishing and not living in the present, right? And to me, like, I think more than tactically, more than anything, like that first 9 games of the season has just shown me like this team is not mentally ready for this season and the challenges that it's going to bring. And I think that's the number one thing that's wrong with this team, man, is just the mentality, the mindset, and that's got to change. That's got to change.
We have XPH with that $18 super chat. Thank you so much, XPH. It says showing love
Thank
to
you
the
so much,
LCP
man.
crew as always, but always also shouting out the low viewers, listeners, Rocio, Scott, Raji, Parmas, Gary, Mike, Gray, comments, and shout out to Ananda, Robin, Alex. Thank you so much, XPH. Honestly, man, like it's awesome being able to go home on a Monday and Thursday after work and say, hey, I got to hang out with the homies tonight. Thank you all for being here and hanging out with us. And unfortunately, doing more Sadful hours, but fortunately, hanging out. Anyway, Ananda, there was a silver lining, if anything. Like you mentioned yours, I'm going to mention mine. John McCarthy, he did put that Orlando City gaff behind him, and he came up with another fine performance. Again, he was the defending the badge winner for me. I know. Am I correct in saying it was for you as well?
Yeah. Absolutely. With the
So
penalty save, I think with the leadership that he's shown in his post match comments, right? He's a guy that never sugarcoats anything. He
it
says
was
it like it
feisty,
is.
man.
He was absolutely feisty. If I think I have the tweet up. Yep, I do, of what he said post match. And by the way, shout out to Alex Ruiz because he got a shout out on MLS wrap up. His tweet was shown on the screen. They call that Alex Ruiz, LA Galaxy beat writer. So, and this was the tweet that they pulled up. They said he said there's 2-3 moments in the games that we just F ourselves throughout the season. It's a tough place to be in, but we can't F and pout about it. We just have to move on and have that killer mentality and then get a win at home. And look, at this point, I talked about mentality just a second ago. At this point, that has to be the case. Like, no excuses, no more crutches, no more whining about MLS salary cap rules. You just have to move on with it and you figure out solutions. Greg always talks about this team's ability to find solutions. The team's got to find that ability to find solutions while having that same mentality and desire and fight that we talked about should have been in that 98 minutes, not after the game, right?
Shoulda, woulda. More victories and all that. It's just not translating into wins or 3 points, and it needs to, because like you mentioned, we're already doing math. After 9 matches, the Galaxy holds a 0-6-3 record with 0.33 points per game. They are in 15th and last place at the moment. Still the only team yet to win a game in the Western Conference. One of 2 teams not to win a game in the entire league, and tied for dead last in the league. This is your MLS Cup champion, folks. Ananda, just because I want to end this on a good note, and I know it's something that you love, let's go ahead and look at some power rankings. Yay!
Good thing
Don't
I
you
don't have a
have?
slide for it.
All right.
Yay!
Well, then we'll just go through them real quick. ESPN still at 30th. Go.com stays at 29th. SI.com down 2 to 30th. I'd say it's a pretty fair reflection of where this team is right now. Ananda did give you their his ray of hope. Seattle similarly, guys, made the playoffs, Western Conference final, actually last year, after 10 games with only 5 points. So there is still a chance to do something big this season. However, the Galaxy are running out of time and need to get back into the swing of things, really just starting to pick up points before this one just goes right by them. Ananda, do you have anything else to add before we get on out of here?
No, I think we've said enough, right? I think we've said enough. Just trying to see if there's anything left in chat. But no, man, just I just want to like go back to the mentality thing real quick, because other than obviously there's some there's always some tactical things, but I feel like if you look at this team on paper, this is not a last place team. Like I don't believe that, right? And now there's no excuse of a boycott. There's no excuse of anything that's happening off the pitch. This is all within the players' control. This is all within the locker room, right? So I think the first thing for me, anyways, I think it's got to be a shift in the mentality, and I think everything else will flow from there. Last year we praised this team, Rob, for having a killer mentality, from turning 0 points into 1 point away from home, from turning 1 point into 3 points at home. Whether it was just putting in the extra run or putting the extra tackle or whatever it took to win the game, right? Yes, we don't have the same midfield. Yes, we don't have our emotional talisman. Yes, and yes, and yes, and yes. But it's time, I think, for us to stop feeling sorry for ourselves. And we probably need a kick in the butt, just like J-Max said in the post-match. And we just need to move on from him. We've got to get that first win. Now, the good thing is, and I want to end this on the positive note, like I said, I feel like once we get that first win, it's going to be a watershed moment, and I think things will start to click. But until then, we are completely behind the 8 ball, and the team that is short on confidence will stay short on confidence until we get that first win. So hopefully that comes on this weekend, and we'll be there with you guys to preview it on Thursday.
Yeah, I think that's a good one to end on. Chat, thank you so much for being here. If you guys are listening to this on audio, thank you so much for listening in. And stick with us. We will be back with you guys on Thursday, April 24th. We'll bring you our Galaxy versus Portland preview pod. And then a week from today, on Monday, April 28th, we'll bring you our Galaxy versus Portland reaction for the match happening on Sunday, April 27th. If you are listening to this pod right now, it's because you found us at youtube.com/@LacunaGalaxiana. Go ahead and tell all your friends and family about this podcast. Go ahead and have them sub. We will love you forever, for sure. If you get someone to sub, Ananda will take a shot with you. We promise. And that's, I think, pretty much all that there is left to say. So here it is, Ananda. Vamos campeones. LA Strong, and G's up. Raquinho